Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, Lord God, as we make decisions that might affect our staff, employees, and residences of Mount Healthy, and continue to remind us that all that we do and hear today, all that we accomplish is for the pursuit of truth and for the greater glory of you and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your holy name. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Does he know we have a public hearing?
Okay, thank you everyone for coming to tonight's meeting.
The park committee's going to do the vote.
First thing we got to do is have a public hearing for the City of Mount Healthy 2025 tax budget. So I'd like to declare the public hearing open.
So this is our 2025 tax budget. This is an annual budget that the county requires. It is due to the county July 20th. And what they look at, this is actually just a duplicate of 2024's budget rolled into 2025. And of course, increases in salary and benefits. And this is put in county format, so it's our numbers put in county format. If you have any questions, Scott has a fabulous spreadsheet that I drop the numbers in and it just moves to this format. It is. Yeah, it's out there in the packet.
Okay, council, if you remember, we do this every year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a ballpark guess, really.
Yes,
for the
it's not
county.
the same as our appropriations budget, which we look more in detail that we do in December. Is there no more out there? Here. This is it.
I have a question. In the government funds, the first schedule, the first page, you did not put in the police levy that we passed, that the residents passed back in November?
I bet it's mixed in with the general fund, yeah.
I'm sorry?
It's in the budget numbers, it's just not broken out right there.
Yeah.
It's a separate fund.
It is 733, but we didn't put it out, we put it still in the general fund, and we move it to 733.
Page 1, 2, 3, 4.
You have it back on page 6 in the police fund, police levy.
It's in government.
733, police levy, 730,000. I believe that's 600,000 from income tax and 130,000 from the property tax. And I checked these other government funds, and they're what we've budgeted for the general fund, the safety tax, and the road improvements. So I don't think it's included on this first page.
See, I felt like we had captured it.
You can, I mean, you can always look at it. Well, I mean, this doesn't have to be passed tonight. So
No. This will be first reading.
Under revenues, what are other financial sources other sources?
Sure.
There's nothing for current year or budgeted year for next year.
Revenue, other,
What are you looking at?
I think I moved,
Page, last line item, right above total revenue.
Other sources.
I think I changed that for you this year, so I'm probably confusing you. Do you have it on the mapping, on the data tab?
The data.
Yeah, find, I don't know, would be R something. It should be off to the right, what the coding is.
Don't know what the coding is.
you know if that's all inside and out.
Let's see here.
That would be income tax revenue, general fund, and some inside.
Oh, this is all property tax, too.
Yeah. Okay, well then this would be then.
It is is R24.
250 plus the 335. Personal property and real estate.
That doesn't add up.
Oh, yeah, if we get it,
No, it doesn't.
if we have an expense like for bulletproof vests,
Is there another one?
we get a 50% grant.
General fund.
So we will put the amount
There's a
that's going to
state
be
part.
reimbursed. I mean, you still have to record it as an expense, so we just call it invoice reimbursement, because then we know. Sometimes they don't always occur, the reimbursement doesn't always occur in the same year that we have the
Safety
expense.
tax.
So they're not always gonna match up, but we just kind of throw it in that account just because we know it will then eventually become, yeah, it'll wash out, exactly.
Hang on, let me look. General
I'll just say it needs to be reviewed, and I think it needs to be added. And if that's the case, then we need to take the police levy out of the page 6 and set up its own page as well. Is that correct? Like page 5, it says, to be used for any fund receiving property tax revenue except the general fund.
Yeah, that probably makes sense to make a separate page, like we have one for fire, we have one for streets, yeah. This will be the first year we've had to
You had to break
add
it out,
this, so,
yeah.
It has to be broken out, yeah.
Yep.
Page 4 under expenditures, professional services. Went from 130,000 for 2020, 78, 23, but only 20 allocated for this year and next year.
It's JMA engineering fees. It just depends on what street project we're doing. Sometimes we just don't know. So a lot of times we well under budget because we just never know if we're going to get the grant. It's always grant contingent. So if you look back, 2023 had, was that 930, or what, you're looking at professional? Yeah, 2022, we had 132,000. I bet if you looked at what we budgeted, it was probably like 20, just because we didn't know at the time that far in advance what road projects we were going to do.
So that would be reimbursements. That's where that's revenue is coming from, right?
For which one?
For the revenue for professional services.
I mean, that's JMA, so I mean, if it's an
See-
OPWC grant, it would just be rolled into the loan. But if we have a
Yeah.
SORTA project, then it would be out of pocket. Or if we
Okay.
had a special project, what was it, was it the Elizabeth, didn't we do a water retainage thing or something? There's something where we had a crew come out and do something on Elizabeth that we had to pay out of pocket. It was outside the scope of the.
Oh, the
road-
culvert.
Yes.
On the north side, the culvert on
Something
the
like
north
that
side.
is,
Okay,
yeah, would be out of scope.
okay.
Those are fees that could typically hit in addition to what we would typically
Yep.
budget.
Any other questions, council? This is due in July, is that correct?
Yeah, by July 20th.
By July 20th? So we have a number of meetings before that.
Correct. Because even the July meeting we have.
Okay.
Scott. Dusty Rhodes.
One or two more meetings
No
before that.
longer is the
Well, we have the
auditor.
June meeting and probably the
Might
July
want to
meeting,
change that
right?
too.
Yeah, I don't
Who is
know
it
what
now?
the date of the July meeting is.
Who's the interim? I
The
forget
July
her
meeting
name.
would be the 16th.
Yeah, we can
Two
update
more
that one.
meetings before that.
Kelly passed away.
You will make a motion to see what people want to do about summer meetings?
Make a motion for what?
Yeah, we'll do that under
Summer
new
meetings
business.
later on, new
Business.
business, yeah. Any other questions or comments regarding this hearing?
So it'll get formally presented as a ordinance as well, but this is all during the hearing, so.
Well, it's already in an ordinance here.
First reading, council?
This is your public hearing.
This is just a
Public
public
hearing.
hearing.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Then I'm going to bring this public hearing to a close. And we'll move on then to our council meeting. Okay,
Okay.
guess roll call then.
Jessica Miranda.
Mrs. Lingo,
Here.
Mr. Parsons,
Here?
Mr. Redding,
Here?
Mrs. Dosa, Mr. George, Mr. Young, Mrs. Rissel.
Okay, we have 3 members absent.
I make a
lonely
motion
over
to
there.
excuse
You look so lonely over there.
I told her
Miss-
I'd wave every now
Miss
and then.
Dosa, Mr. George, and Mr. Young.
Okay, Mr. Reddy has made a motion to excuse our 3 absent members. Second, Ms. Rissel. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. You have before you the minutes from the May 7th, 2024 council meeting. We need to take a look through them if there's anybody have any corrections that they've seen.
I have one question. It's on the 3rd page. It's in the Police Department's report. 2, 4, 6, 7 lines down, it's got an address on Warner. I think that's incorrect. We don't have any 4226s anywhere in Mount Hope. Probably 7426.
Yes. It is, that's what it is. 7426.
There is a 7426. I don't know off the top of my head if that is the correct address, but it's probably most likely 7426. Or no,
7426.
or could it be 7226?
I believe it is. I believe 7426 is the correct address.
Okay, did everybody get that correction? Anybody else got anything? Okay, to have a motion to approve on the minutes as corrected.
I make a motion to adopt the minutes as corrected.
And Mr. Parsons has made a motion to adopt as corrected.
Second.
Mr. Redding is seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Correspondence. I don't have any correspondence. Does anybody else have anything to bring forward? Just I'm sure we'll cover this, but there's a notice on your desk about the rededication on June 7th. Just take note of it and remember. Okay, guest and special events. We have tonight Tick Farm.
Yes, Tick Farm. I was privileged to be invited to a meeting there, and I asked them if they would come and highlight their job training program, their summer cohort for the summer. So if you'd like to come up to somebody may come up to the podium.
Hello, everybody. It is, right? All right, so we are from Tick Farm. My name is Desiree Hosley. This is Mel, who is our creation care director. We have B, who is our urban farming instructor, and you all know Mary Lehman, I believe, who is the executive director for Tick Farm. And this summer, around June 10th, we will be partnering with the City of Mount Healthy, Trinity Lutheran, and Forest Avenue Wetland Parks to do some work outside in the community. This will be an exciting partnership to cultivate awareness to the meaningful impact that an organization can have by serving the community. So through this collaboration, trainees will have the chance to not only learn valuable skills, but also to contribute to the betterment of the local area. By coming together in service, we can create a ripple effect of positivity and empowerment that benefits everyone involved. This initiative serves as a reminder that even small acts of kindness and support can make a significant difference in the lives of others. Let's work hand in hand to sow the seeds of change and growth in our community. And Mel will explain a little bit more about what that means.
So yeah, Tick Farm has been running this job training program for the last several years, and it has had cohorts out in urban farming as well as culinary skills, but tonight we're really hoping to highlight our urban farming and landscaping cohort. So it's a 9-week program over the summer, and we also run it in the spring and fall, where students get outdoor, hands-on skills, learn how to use equipment, learn how to interact with landscapes and beautify them and maintain them. and they get OSHA certified at the end of it. So for the last several years, we've really focused on the urban farming portion of it. So getting students who would maybe otherwise never interact with growing spaces, with kind of farming systems, getting them some experience with that, and hopefully having them go on and at the very least, start their own gardens or interact with some of the other green spaces in the area. This year, we're really excited to highlight more of the landscaping and horticulture portion of it. So we have met with Public Works as well as Mayor Moody here to kind of plan out the hopes of the students getting out into the community and helping maintain some of the parks in the area. And this is kind of hopefully a pilot program. As some of you may know, it's a struggle to find jobs for some of the students in Mount Healthy schools. Obviously college attendance rates post-graduation are fairly low, and there's not a lot of jobs. However, there's plenty of jobs in landscaping, and if you know anybody who owns a landscaping company, you know that they're actually really struggling to hire. And as someone who has been a member of the National Association of Landscape Professionals for the last 5 years, one of the big things that they talk about is people just do not have a chance to interact with green spaces, with landscapes. It's not really something that a lot of young people even consider getting into. So the hope is this year, over the summer, over this 9-week program, to get the students out there, again, get them OSHA certified, get them used to equipment, and partner with the city, especially this summer, to have them visible to the community, working in the spaces, beautifying City Park, as well as some other green spaces in the area, and then look to the future to potentially partnering with local residents on working on their landscapes and some of the local landscapers in the general area to get the students jobs after this program and to get them working to help beautify the city. So,
Could you
Wonderful.
mention a couple of the other places, if you remember them, besides City Park, where they're gonna be working?
yeah, so is it the Haddings Avenue? Yeah, there's the Haddings Avenue kind of common area that we specifically identified with Public Works. It was, I think, a project by a Scout member several years ago. So we're working there, as well as City Park, and then hopefully getting down to Heritage Park as well as the wetland, Forest Avenue Wetland Park, kind of getting them more of the natural, ecological outdoor experience. So those are the areas that we're hoping to do over the summer. Like I said, it's a 9-week program. This feels very much like a pilot for us to experiment with getting them off the farm, getting them working in the area, and then hopefully looking towards partnerships towards our fall cohort to expand, as well as, yeah. Right, so as well as partnering with the city, we're also going to be partnering with Trinity Lutheran, who we've had a deep partnership with the last couple of years through their community garden, as well as lots of other programming that we do with them. So getting them working on renovating the landscape in front of Trinity this year, and then looking, towards other partnerships coming forward, so.
That sounds
And
great.
the workers are the youth who are hired that will be training at the farm are through Talbot House, Hamilton County Youth Employment, and the ages range from 16 to 21. So you will see them out and about into the community working mostly on Fridays, some Thursdays, but mostly will be out around Fridays.
How many students?
There will be about 18 students out and about.
Good.
It's wonderful.
That is great.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Redding.
Questions? The Pocket Park on Hastings Avenue by the Dairy Bar, you'll be working on that? Do you have plans for it, or?
Yeah, so we're still going to be going back and forth with Public Works on the exact plan with it. The head of Public Works, who the name is currently
Justin.
Justin, kind of said that we could kind of take over the park. The main thing is going to be weeding it, replanting some of the areas, maybe redoing some of the pavers and stuff, because I know it's fallen into a little bit of disarray. But we are still going to be walking around and kind of planning out the exact schedule for what we'll be doing in that.
But keeping pretty much the same blueprint? Okay, 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 thank you.
After they get certified, is there gonna be like an employment where employers can come in and talk to them, or?
So yeah, the plan is to organize field trips. I'm B. Luton. I'm one of the 3 urban farming instructors with the cohort. I've been working on and off with Ticoon Farm since 2019. And yeah, the goal is to both work in field trips during the 9-week, program so that we can actually get onto the properties of smaller nurseries, larger nurseries. We're still looking for landscaping firms to partner with. But ideally, during the programming, we'll actually be able to get some feet on the ground in these professional spaces. And then, yeah, ideally, by the end of the program, we'll also be able to invite employers to the farm to meet with the students as well.
Okay, how can I get on that list?
You can contact me or get a paper from Mayor Moody, who has some extra information, and you can email me or give me a card. There you go. Ah, bam. Okay. I will send you an email, and I'll be in contact.
Desiree@tcumfarm.com.
Yes.
And we also partner with UC in their occupational therapy program. So towards the end of the 9-week cohort, the occupational therapy students come in and help the students work on their resumes, as well as help them through some of the other job skill trainings.
Yeah. And as far as y'all, I mean, we are here to just let you know that we will be out in the community and you will see us working around and hopefully beautifying some of the green spaces in Mount Healthy. But also for the fall cohort of this program, we're hoping to expand and really get into private residences, other businesses in the area. And so if y'all would like to brainstorm over these next few months, we're definitely interested in kind of building deeper partnerships with the city. So we're definitely open to ideas.
And related to that, I'm just gonna put in a plug for the native plant nursery. So let's talk a little bit about what you've been growing there and how part of what we're trying to do is bring more native plant species to the community.
Right, so obviously that's been a big push. You might have heard native plantings, pollinator plantings and stuff is kind of a bigger buzz in the area. You'll see a lot of larger organizations have really started to make that shift, including the Park Board of Cincinnati has really shifted towards planting native plants down in Cincinnati. So one thing that I've been really helping in the last couple of years with Ticoon Farm is developing this large native plant nursery. So, not only are we going to be able to train the students to go out there and plant, but we also have lots of plant material to be able to provide. And we have already partnered with North College Hill and donated a couple plants to them to do some plantings in the area. We also have a satellite nursery now down at Aiken. So the hope this year is also to provide lots of plants for free to the community. These are, ornamental perennials, similar to some of the stuff that you see outside, right outside the city hall right here. Some larger trees that you might be familiar with. So not only donating them to the community, getting the students to plant them in there, and then also we have these available to people in the community. So we do plant sales to people who can afford them, and then through a nice USDA grant, we are able to provide plants for free or at very reduced cost to some of the people who come through our free market, if you're familiar with that.
If you're a private citizen wanting to expand the native plant life in your own yard, consider coming and talking to us, and we'll try to make it part of what we do in our job training program.
Good.
Email me that. Okay. I got a big yard again.
They're gonna rake leaves?
Sounds like a great
lot.
program. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really does sound
I wanted them to bring them here because when I met with them, and I was so impressed by what they're doing and the grant that they'd received. I hope we can continue this into the fall, into next year, because this is a great opportunity. And as they spoke, a lot of landscaping companies have great difficulty getting people that want to work, and hopefully maybe students coming through this program will want to start their own business. And we know the lawn mowing situation in town, when people don't mow their lawns or don't have someone to mow their lawn, could be an opportunity for someone to have a small business too. So I wanted to bring them here. I was so impressed when I met with them, and the opportunity for the city, knowing that, we have a small public works department, and having them come and work with Justin, as Mel met with Justin and talked about what they can do to help with our parks, I think is just a wonderful win for all of us.
Thank you so much for the invitation, Jen.
Thank you very
Thank
much for
you.
coming up and
Thank you for
informing
doing
us.
it.
Sounds great.
Okay. Public input. Anybody here who would like to address council?
Hi, everyone. My name is Mara Harbrink. I reside at 1977 Adams Road. I also own 7816 Hamilton, which is Thomas Barber Shop. Today, I am here as a representative of the Historical Society. One, we still have games available. I do have some in my car if anybody wants one. They're $25. We are also doing a sale where if you order them in quantities of 6, they're only $20. Museum hours have changed. We're open just Saturdays now. Tuesday hours have gone away. We don't have enough volunteers. It is now from 10 to noon on Saturdays. Memorial Day, we will also be open from 2 to 3:30. So if anybody knows, we have a museum. It is open to the public. It is completely free. Please come through. It's really cool. Just right there, I think. That way.
Right there.
It's on this block. And then, somewhere. And then I just wanted to thank the city for allowing us to use our maintenance fees that went unused last year for this year, so we can keep making those improvements. That's it. Thank you much.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay, thank you, Mara. Anybody else like to address council? No? Okay. We'll move on then to committees and commissions. Beautification, Denise Lingo.
The Beautification Committee met on May 7th before the council meeting, mapping out where we're going to do our plans. We're going to do this tomorrow, and I want to thank Justin, already got the plants in all the baskets. It's down at the Land Tech. They're watering them every day, and they really look good, so he's going to have those up by the parade. And then we're going to go around and do Heritage Park, the park, City Hall, and a couple other plots and so forth, so, and that's it. And I want to thank the volunteers on that committee too that are going to help me plant. So we're going to start that tomorrow. That's it.
Do you need volunteers?
Tomorrow. Yeah. Darn. Well, I'll probably be out there all day.
Yeah, let me know. I'll get with you, because I have some time tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, any questions?
Do have a, what about watering? Do you need volunteers for watering?
I don't know yet, because I spoke to Justin, and he acted like he was going to do the watering. So
Okay.
I don't think so. I know he's got the
Okay.
equipment to do the baskets.
Okay.
And since they got the water truck,
think-
we
yeah,
won't
I
have
think
to
he's
carry
gonna
our
go.
jugs all over the place. But I'll check
Okay.
with him just to make sure
Okay.
that, you know, we can help during the summer when you got to do it every day or whatever on the weekends.
Yep.
Thank
Yep,
you.
yep.
I will. Let you
Okay,
know.
thank you, Denise.
You're welcome.
Business Partnership, Economic Development is Mr. Young. He's not here. Does anybody have anything on that? Okay. Finance, Mr. Parsons.
No report?
Library and the Parks Commission is Ms. Dosa, and she's not here. Safety, Mr. Redding.
I have no report.
Schools, Mr. George. I'm sorry. go
One
ahead.
thing, on parks, I don't want to speak out of turn. Scott, are you going to cover that later about what's going on
We-
currently in the park?
I'll touch on it, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay, streets, Ms. Rissel.
Well, tonight we had a meeting,
I had something.
to see what streets we were thinking about recommending for next year's budget. And we came up right now with Seward north of Adams with a 20% from us,
That's a sorta program.
sorta.
Sorta.
right.
Is there enough of a stretch of street there, foot-wise, to,
Not for sorta, we just apply for one.
okay. I don't know how long the street is. Does it meet requirements, minimum requirements? Or,
Yeah, is it a half mile, I think, from a bus route, I think is all it has to be. All of our streets technically qualify, it's just the further away from the bus route you get, the less points. So any street technically qualifies.
yeah. Okay. Thank you, Peggy. Anything else? Okay, Mayor's report, Ms. Moody.
Yes, I'll cover, between Scott and I, will cover some things about parks, too. I just returned from, or I went to a conference last Friday, a Mayor's Association conference in Obetz, Ohio. It was nice that I got to sit next to the mayor of Blue Ash. And I was at a table also with the mayor from Chillicothe, Maslin, and a small village, Wyndham, up in northeast Ohio. learned about what it's like or what you should do as being a mayor. So a lot of things, they went into budgeting, finance, decorum, meetings, working with council, city manager, people, in the city and also in the community. So it was something that I was glad I went to. During the course of the last week, Scott and we've met with LISC, which is a housing, it's an initiative, it's a nonprofit that the county works with, and they do, their concern is housing and home ownership. There's a lot to be said right now about people that want to buy homes that are not able to buy homes because of the price of homes and other issues. And so there's a big effort in this country, really, but in the state about housing plans in different neighborhoods. They kind of customize the housing plan. They've sent us some from, Deer Park, Cheviot, Forest Park. They come in and they kind of analyze the situation and look at what you lack or and the potential you have in your housing market within certain areas. And so through that and through their partnership with the Hamilton County, right now there's a lead reduction grant out there. If you have lead in your home and you feel like that if you think you have it, you're not sure, they will come in free of charge. They will analyze any kind of lead situation in your home, and they will, I guess, eradicate it or remediate, whatever, at no cost. So right now, this grant is at no cost. So you had to have. Yeah, well, right. But I'm not gonna, they'll come in and they'll let you know, and you can call, so it's through the county. And so a lot of what they can do for us is housing research and come up with maybe some ideas or at least a plan as they did. It's free. When we met with them, this is not only a county but a statewide and a nationwide nonprofit organization. We also met with Alloy, which is also a partnership with the county right now. We met with Harry Blanton, economic development person, Catherine Fitzgerald, which is economic development, and Greg Forte, which is small business. And I'll let Scott talk about what he went to this week as far as the commissioners had a big small business venue on Monday. We have received another $100,000, or not another, but we've received a $100,000 facade improvement grant through the county. So right now, I know Joe was in that meeting. We were in the meeting with Gordon and Bill about zoning issues and looking at our zoning, but also looking at setting up a system by which when these facade improvement dollars are given out in the business district, the application processing and maybe point value that will be given toward awarding the grants. There will be businesses that apply for this will have to give some money toward it. It'll be a percentage match. So we're looking at that. That has to be spent before the end of 2025, but hopefully we can get this rolling to a point where we would have businesses. Since Angelo's is almost done, not quite done, and we got a facade improvement grant, we've learned a lot through that, working with Third Century. And the Angelo's is looking really good. They're not done yet. And since that has been happening, we've had businesses call and ask, how can we become a part of this facade improvement? So we're going to be working with the county. I've been very pleased that when we're meeting with Alloy, LISC, April from the county is right there with us, encouraging us and giving us guidance as to the grants that are available now, and I guess there'll be potentially some grants coming up. They haven't unveiled them yet, but they should be in the next, week or two, you think, Scott?
Mm-hmm.
We hope?
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully. Okay, moving on, Memorial Day Parade is on Monday. I think you've got the information, 2 o'clock start. We meet at the Dairy Bar. Is everybody kind of going to walk in it? Yep, okay, good, all right.
Do we need people to carry the banner,
Well,
kids?
you're right, we do have, who has that banner? Is that banner?
It's right behind you.
Oh, it's right behind, oh, yeah, that's what that
On the
thing
floor.
was. Okay, yeah, do you have potential?
I may have one. I will let you know tomorrow.
Okay,
She can't carry it by
Grandchild?
herself.
She can't carry it by herself, that's for sure.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to recruit to have people carry the banner. That's good. Also, with parks and the library, so last week, the Enquirer came and met with Keisha. I was present myself with the people from the library, kind of highlighting and generating an article that will be in a Sunday paper sometime in the next month about the library that's going to be relocating to CVS and all the opportunities that that building's undergoing the renovation, and how exciting it is. And then we talked a little bit about the park and the playground equipment that's just been installed in the park. And so their photographer went over and took pictures. Justin was also with us at the meeting. And so it was a nice opportunity that maybe we'll get some recognition through the Enquirer. I guess on Sundays they have a local section, and so we should be highlighted in that. Also, working with Keisha, we do have posters up for the rededication of the playground and the kickoff of the concerts in the park this summer, which will be Friday, June 7th. That's been advertised. We're going to have, the community room will be open. People can look at the pool. We can ask people questions, and they can give us input on the park and what they'd like to see in the park. There'll be raffle prizes, 2 Cincinnati Reds tickets, 2 Museum Center tickets. There'll be face painting, magician, and so we're looking forward to celebrating the summer that's coming here in our park and the playground equipment. Some of the playground equipment has been sponsored. We're still out there waiting for a couple more responses as to the money we can receive on that. And we're also going to be working on the grant that Keisha worked on previously, and that's due June 1st, and I know Joe's been working on that, and Scott and I and Keisha sent us what she had developed so far, so we need to be working on that next week and get that grant in. And I think, July 3rd, the booth. So knowing that we're trying to do more events in the park this year, and with the playground situation and the money with that, we are going to, do the beer and pop booth, and we're probably going to keep that money hopefully within the park budget at some point. I think we're going to need that.
Yeah, I think so too.
And that's it. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Questions for the mayor?
Do you still need workers for the booth?
Yes.
I mean, is there hours, like,
Yeah, we've got the next meeting I'll have it. I'll probably be contacting you guys anyway privately. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll solicit that. One more thing I did remember. Kathy Lorenz, I don't know if you know Kathy Lorenz.
Yes.
She's a longtime resident. When I was volunteering at the food pantry, I got to know Kathy very well. She will be retiring from that position, and they're going to be highlighting her at a luncheon at the church where the pantry is on June 5th. I'll be presenting her at a Key to the City and a proclamation. Kathy Lorenz is probably one of the most amazing women I know here in Mount Healthy. What she has done with that food pantry as a volunteer, and the connection she's made with resources for people, even getting bus tokens, channeling people when they need other help besides food, has been quite a feat. And she's retiring, and the person that's taking over, it's going to be a part-time paid position now, and this person's being trained. And I just wanted to say that it's going to be an honor for me to be able to give her a Key to the City and proclamation. I've always been in awe of her energy and her dedication. She's a member of the Assumption Parish. The Assumption Parish is also part of the Mount Healthy Alliance, so that's an alliance of churches that have dedicated their part of their work to the food pantry and the youth program too. So I just wanted to let you know, if you know Kathy and want to send her a card, a note, and say thank you so much for your service, it would be appreciated.
Thank you, Mayor. Questions for the mayor? Okay, and we'll move on. City Manager's Report, Mr. Scott Bauer.
See, I'll talk about Alloy here so I don't forget about it. So, as the mayor mentioned, we met with Alloy. They're kind of an arm of the county. They're their own separate firm, but sort of the county's contracted with them as their formal economic developers. They came here and met us, but then I also went to the Sharonville Convention Center, and they had it was Small Business Day. They had probably 100 different booths set up of all different chambers, of different ways that you could get grants as a small business, but then they also had a room where it was contractors like Messer and Pruce, and as a business you could go and speak face-to-face, and they kept emphasizing the point was to actually cut a deal. It wasn't just handing out pens. So they kind of set up this room and just little tiny booths within there that they're trying to actually make things happen to help businesses improve and grow. I know they have one grant where I think it's $50,000 to help a small business purchase the property that they operate in, so they can have ownership of the property. So just lots of tools. Met a good number of people, still figuring out how we can kind of angle it as a city and maybe try to channel some of those small businesses here, but they seem like they're gonna be a great partner. They were happy to see us come and represent the city and just kind of be excited to work with them. So hopefully that partnership can lead to good things. See, Cordell's not here. I'll just mention the schools because I'm sure he would have brought it up. I saw him at the commission meeting. I'm sure he probably saw it on the news that they decided commission did not recommend the reconfiguration. The next normal meeting is Friday, and that will actually be at the high school, not at the board. I don't know if that's because it's pretty to capacity, the number of people that are showing up to the meeting. So if anyone would like to come, 5:30 at the high school, come check it out. Let's see, fire department, still in process with the organizational assessment, still working on filling that 8th full-time position, working with civil service. Police department, I was looking through the minutes. I don't think Jerry mentioned this last time, but National Night Out, I believe, is August 6th. We're partnering with NCH this time. I don't know exactly where it's going to be located, but it will be in NCH. But we'll go there and represent the police, but do it in partnership with NCH.
It is going to be at North College Hill?
It will be in North College Hill, yes,
okay.
Correct. Yep. Let's see, road updates. I think I said this last time. It looks like they're wrapping up the water portion. I know I saw installed fire hydrants, and they've started kind of backfilling in all the trenches they had to dig to lay the new water pipes. So hopefully they're going to get to the actual road work here pretty soon. Let's see, just some parks updates. I don't know if anyone has checked out the RC track. They had a guy that volunteered his skid steer to push around the dirt, and so they've completely reorganized the track. Looks pretty cool. We have at least half of an RC track stand to install. NCH got rid of a trailer that they had, and they had a aluminum stand that kind of walked up into it, so we were able to salvage that. We're going to use that as part of the stand. We have to still get the ramp so it's ADA compliant, so we'll either get aluminum ramp or we'll just build a wooden one. Still kind of figuring that out, but hopefully this year the ramp will get installed. There's a gigantic pile of mulch in the parking lot down there. If you want to check it out, half of it's probably already been spread out there, so there's new mulch. As we've kind of gone through this process, realized that the mulch levels had significantly eroded and deteriorated, so starting to backfill all that stuff in. But all the equipment is open, you can use it. I don't know if anyone's seen the slide. I don't know that I could ever, I'm not a fan of heights, but I mean, it's probably 15 feet in the air, but it looks pretty cool, so it's open for use. Let's see, gas aggregation, got the updated price. I've kind of condensed the data I have in there, but if you're curious, I can show you all the data points that they've given to me, but they're still recommending waiting till the end of the year. Had a good meeting this afternoon with Bill Knight and Gordon Wong. Talked about business registration, different zoning updates we could do. Gordon kind of recommended it. Seems like most places will do a 5-year refresh of their code book. And I think tomorrow will actually be 5 years since we updated ours. So kind of in the talks to either do that through Planning Commission or set up a committee, something like that. But what's that? Maybe that's when it was started. I have a report that says May of 2019, so, okay. We're getting close to 5 years then, so good time to be thinking about
There were
it.
some issues we talked about in the zoning, too.
Right, right.
They have to be addressed.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about how we'd use the code enforcement dollars that we're going to get through CDBG. Again, those haven't been formally approved, but usually it's, you can pretty much assume that you're going to get it. But yeah, it was a good discussion. I think that's all that well, let's see. I was going to give an Adams Road update. I can give you my report here. You'd be the most interested in that. If anyone wants to see that report, it's just traffic count data. I'd be happy to. There's probably some extra ones floating around here. So I think what we're going to have to end up doing is buying more speed humps, which you'd already kind of planned to do. But we have one installed. It does seem to be slowing down people in that area, but unfortunately in front of Mara's house, which kind of, that's where we had put the traffic counter and noticed the significant speeding that was going on. It appears to be continuing to happen. So the numbers at the top there are what were measured the first 2 weeks of May, so 2-3 weeks ago. Still getting people that are driving over 80, 90 miles an hour, kind of scary in that stretch. There's something about that dip in the hill. I guess they're getting going pretty fast. So we're gonna get some more speed humps and at least put one probably pretty close to 1977 Adams, close to the entrance to the sports complex. Yeah, see if we can't get people to slow down. Yeah, I think that's all that I have.
Speed humps on Harrison?
Oh, yes. So
Yeah.
the construction that's going on in Harrison right now, they are going to add a permanent one, just made of asphalt. So, I mean, you could still grind it off and get rid of it if you decided it was not appropriate, but they're going to install one now, and I believe it's kind of behind the Gold Star. I don't know what the address, 7817 Harrison, roughly, between Hastings and Hill. There'll probably be a right around there that will install one. So.
A permanent speed
A
hump?
permanent one, yeah. So it won't be the one that we have to drill the holes in. It would just,
Okay.
they'd lay extra.
It'll be part of the blacktop?
Yep.
Okay.
And then the other end?
So still, since we haven't bid that one out yet, I don't know. I mean, I will tell JMA to build that into it, but we'll at least put one on the southern section as well.
One or two?
Yeah, one or two, yeah. Between, possibly this year, we'll start construction on the southern portion of Harrison, south of Compton, and we'll add at least one speed hump there as well, so.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bauer. Questions?
Well, just one thing, if I could lobby for the bottom or somewhere down the hill on probably both sides of Elizabeth, the north side going down and the south side going down, if I could lobby for speed humps there. I'm not quite sure everything that goes on the north side, but on the south side where there's stop signs at Elizabeth and Madison. Yeah, there's pretty many kids, and there's a few kids out there that play about 2/3 of the way down the hill that, that could
Yeah, Elizabeth
definitely
and Madison
be
is what.
advantageous to.
Yeah, Elizabeth Madison's what initially prompted me to get the traffic counter, just because of all the number
Yes,
of complaints.
yep.
I mean, around town, but yeah, that intersection in particular I know is bad, so, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else questions? Okay, then we're going to move on to ordinances and resolutions. We have a couple second readings. The first one is the second reading of ordinance number 24-2044, an ordinance amending and updating sections of the City of Mount Healthy tax ordinance as detailed below. We had the first reading on this, is that correct?
Yes.
Questions or comments, council? Nobody?
Finance guy. Okay, there's. Okay, well, if there's no questions, I will make a motion to approve ordinance 24-2044.
Okay, Mr. Redding has made a motion to adopt.
I'll second.
Mr. Parsons has seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Lingo?
Aye.
Mr. Parsons?
Aye.
Mr. Redding?
Aye.
Mrs. Dosa? Mr. George? Mr. Young? Mrs. Rissel?
Okay, by a vote of 4-0, ordinance number 24-2044 is approved. We have a second reading on a resolution, 24-1218. A resolution authorizing the city manager to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Transit Infrastructure Fund program and to execute contracts as required. Had their first reading on this on the 7th of May.
So again, this is just generic, does not specifically say what street we will do or the match, but at the recommendation of the street committee, if everyone agrees, we would go ahead and I would direct JMA to submit for Seward with a 20% match.
Okay, questions or comments, council?
I think it's the end of this month that it's due. And then we should know before the end of the year, and then hopefully next year, we'd be breaking ground on it.
And I would ask for a motion to adopt, council, if we don't have any questions.
I make a motion to adopt resolution number 24-1218.
Okay,
I'll
Mr. Rennie's
second.
made a motion to adopt, seconded by Ms. Lingo. Roll call.
Mrs. Lingo,
Aye.
Mr. Parsons,
Aye.
Mr. Redding,
Aye.
Mrs. Dosa, Mr. George, Mr. Young, Mrs. Rissel.
Aye.
Okay, by a vote of 4-0, resolution number 24-1218 is approved. We have one resolution on a first reading, and that is a resolution adopting a tax budget for 2025, which we had the public hearing on at the start of council meeting. Questions or comments regarding this, council?
So I've gotten my notes to add a separate page for the PD. We'll do it'll show the property levy tax and then the income tax. And we'll change the name on the last
I was
page.
gonna say, yeah.
New county auditor.
Rose's auditor.
So do you wish to do a first reading on this?
That's all we
With the
can do.
corrections?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I know, but you can also do nothing.
Oh, first reading.
Yeah.
All right,
First reading, yeah.
first reading on this resolution. Okay, that is all the business as far as ordinances and resolutions. Old business. Anybody have any old business? New business?
I think we should do a motion and and a voice vote on the Seward
Okay.
Avenue.
Sure.
Okay. I'll make a motion that council accept the Seward Avenue north of Adams project for the sorta financing with a 20% match.
We can do that with 4 people. We could do that with 4 people.
Just a voice
Just
vote.
a voice
yeah.
vote.
Just a voice vote.
Okay, any questions or comments regarding that? Do I have a second on that motion? Ms. Rissel has made a second on the motion to approve the project of repairing Seward Avenue north of Adams Road. Okay,
So that just gives us right to go and submit that application for that. Yeah, it's not committing to anything. Yeah, yeah.
all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Other new business, council.
Summer session. Council meetings once a month.
Second or third Tuesday,
Yeah, third Tuesday.
put that in a
With,
motion.
with leaving the option that if we need to meet twice, we meet twice or
Yeah.
however many times.
Okay,
Do I need to make a motion for that? I will make that motion,
okay.
Starting in June,
just starting in June,
June, July, August.
and that gives
Yep.
us enough time for that one to get passed.
to get the
Yeah.
budget passed
Okay,
for the
Mr. Rennie
county.
has made a motion to go to Sessions, council meetings, third Tuesday of each month,
For June, July, and August.
July and August. Do I have a second? Ms. Lingo, seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion is carried. I'm going to miss that coming up here. Any other new business, council?
Yeah, check out the new park playground equipment.
Will do.
I would like to thank Keisha for all her hard work on that, and PEC, is it PEC, PES?
Yes, okay.
Playground Equipment Services for stepping up and getting the job done quickly, and all those folks and organizations who have donated money to to alleviate the spend from the city. So we greatly appreciate that too. So, yep, it's a good thing. It's a good start.
Yes, it is. Denise, Keisha did a good job on it. Okay, nothing else? Ms. Lingo?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Ms. Lingo has made a motion to adjourn, seconded by Ms. Rissel. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Meeting is adjourned. Thank
Then
you,
I
everyone.
need-